Today we'll talk about types of contracts including details of EPC contract. We know that there are different type of contracts like item rate contract, percentage rate contract, EPC contract, turnkey contract. Apart from this, some other documents like lump sum contract and work orders are also used by some organizations. But mainly these are four types of contracts called item rate, percentage rate, EPC contract and turnkey contracts. If you talk about item rate contract, then in this contract, rates are quoted by the contractor or tenderer for each item and accepted accordingly by other party. Thus, all the items are to be specified by the bid inviting authority in bill of quantities. The bid inviting authority shall not mention his rates of items, but all the items will be mentioned in BOQ. Therefore, rates are to be filled by the contractor or tenderer. In item rate contract, there is wide fluctuation. If there is a wide fluctuation of rates of items, and estimated rates are taken from old schedule of rates, such tender provides opportunity to the bidder to quote market rates accordingly, and thus these are almost market rates. In case a contractor submits higher rates of items required to be executed in the beginning and lower of the items to be executed at the end, there is every likelihood of disputes because he already receives higher payment of the higher rated items, and then he may like to leave the work at the end. It means the contractor may not execute lower rated items or degrade the quality. The contractor may insist on executing higher rated items and getting deleted or substituted low rated items. Thus, contract management needs attention of the project manager on such items. Risk of uncertainty is more with the employer, and contractors gets paid in all the cases. In percentage rate item contracts, rates are quoted by the tenderer on percentage basis, above or below or at par, on estimated rates or cost of the work mentioned by other party, or that is employer. Thus, items are to be specified by the bid inviting authority in this type of contract also. Additionally, estimated rates of items are also mentioned, and the tenderer quotes percentage accordingly. In this case, estimated rates are taken from old schedule of rates, and if there is large fluctuation of rates of individual items may not be comparable to market rates, even though overall contract may be reasonable. In case rates are based on current schedule of rates, there is no problem. If the estimated rates are based on market rates, then also contractor will not get undue benefit due to deviations in quantities or from substitution of items. Also, the rates will be reasonable based on market rates. Hence, contract management is easier for both the parties as decision making is easier. Risk of uncertainty again is with the employer more than the contractor, because for any risk which is not covered, contractor gets paid. Let us talk about EPC contract. E means engineering. Engineering means planning activities also. P means procurement, means obtaining something. It means materials and execution services. C means construction, that is execution. Thus, EPC means engineering, procurement and construction. Now, in EPC contracts, contractor has to provide engineering, and as such, contract is like a lump sum contract for the scope of work. Hence, higher risk is with the contractor. The contractor has to invest more in the works executed under EPC contracts. Hence, only large companies normally take up such works. There may be limitation of architectural design if the same is not finalized before award of work. The contractor may follow concept of minimization in every aspect, including design, construction and procurement. The specifications and tender document need careful planning before bidding. Turnkey contract means client or employer wants everything to be included in a contract and he takes over the key and enters into the building or premises. It means there is only one contract between client and the contractor for complete scope of the work. Thus, client has to specify broadest requirement and engineering, procurement and construction of one or more packages, whatever number of packages are there, to be decided by the main contractor. It is in fact similar to EPC contract. Careful planning is required during preparation of tender document. In case architectural design is finalized first and bids decided based on approved architectural design and finalization of broad specifications, contract management is easier for the employer. Risk and contract management is in the scope of the contractor. If we talk about EPC contract, then an EPC contract may be for complete work or part of the work, as the work may involve many activities or many subheads. EPC means all activities of engineering, procurement and construction, as we have already discussed. It is advisable to adopt EPC contract for complete scope of work for better coordination. Let us compare turnkey and EPC contract. Is there any difference between these two? Probably yes. Let us understand from various packages of a work. Let us assume that scope of work include civil works, E&M works, fire protection and firefighting works, security related works, horticulture works, furniture and furnishing, interior, equipment and operation and maintenance. Then what subheads should be included in EPC contract? That is the question. Should it be included all the works like civil, E&M, fire protection or whatever we have already discussed, or some of these works, and then we call EPC contracts in different packages. Let us understand with some examples. Say case 1. Now in case 1 we may consider the work civil or E&M works alone, which include architectural services, engineering services, execution, quality assurance, project management, operation and maintenance, and call the tender for all above, having all architectural, engineering, procurement and construction activities. Then let us ask a question ourselves, will it be EPC contract? Answer is yes, as it includes engineering, procurement and construction. But this is not a turnkey contract because the contract has been called only for civil works or E&M works. Now let us see in case 2 that both civil and E&M works are included, and then architectural services are included, engineering services, execution, quality assurance, project management, operation and maintenance. Then will it be an EPC contract? The answer is again yes, but not a turnkey contract if something is missing from the scope of the work. Let us see in case 3. Civil, E&M works, landscaping and horticulture, furniture, furnishing, everything is included in the contract. But we suppose include only architectural, engineering services, execution, quality assurance, etc., then everything, if hence all the turnkey contracts are EPC contracts, but not all EPC contracts are turnkey contracts, because in this one all the services and all the scope of the work has been included. So this is totally EPC or turnkey project. Let us understand in case 4 that if we call the tender but without conceptual plan, it means conceptual plans have been provided by the employer, and then balance architectural services, engineering services, execution, quality assurance, project management and operation and maintenance are included. Will it be called EPC contract? Again, answer is probably yes, as it includes engineering, procurement and construction, though conceptual plans have been developed by the employer. Now let us understand with the example again in case 5, where all the architectural drawings are provided by the employer, but all engineering and procurement and construction is done by the agency or the contractor. Then again it will be an EPC contract, and thus the scope of only architectural drawings is with the employer. Another case may be that suppose this exclude architectural or structural drawings, then should it be called EPC contract? Contract still requires engineering in terms of services, procurement and construction, hence may be termed as EPC contract. And thus EPC contract is a contract for complete or part of a work in which engineering, procurement and construction are included. If EPC is for complete work and includes all items of engineering, procurement and construction, it becomes turnkey contract. However, EPC may be for part of work and EPC may be for engineering, procurement and construction without complete architectural and engineering services. Let us talk about the specifications and conditions. In case architectural design and broad specifications are finalized before award of work, disputes are likely to be less or eliminated. The terms and conditions and specifications are to be clearly spelled out in EPC contract, and if risks are on the part of contractor. Let us discuss some more about the contract conditions. Many conditions are similar to other types of contract, that is item rate or percentage rate contract. Still we can discuss some of the conditions. One is the securities. We know that there are two types of securities which are taken from the contractor. One is security deposit and another is performance security or performance guarantee or bid security. Now bid security or performance guarantee will be part of conditions in EPC contract also. Security deposit will also be deducted for adjustment on account of sums payable by the contractor. Thus this provision is similar to other contracts. Another clause is regarding time and delay. Now normally in item rate and percentage rate tenders, compensation for delay is included, and then also incentives for early completion are included. This is similar to other contracts. In EPC contract also this clause can be included, and above criteria regarding compensation may change from organization to organization. However, total amount of the compensation does not exceed 10% of the tendered amount. Now regarding determination of contract, the condition is included in all types of contracts, and there are a number of reasons due to which contractor is rescinded. Some of them may be defective work, suspension of work, delay, negligence of obligations, involved in corruption, paying commission, obtaining contract with malpractices, becomes insolvent, or subletting the work if the provision of subletting is not there in the contract or as defined in the contract. So this clause will also be included in EPC contracts. Other clauses, important clauses may be like secured advance, mobilization advance, TNP advance, wage increase, price increase of materials, escalation clause, deviations. Now let's talk about the secured advance. Secured advance is given on the materials which are brought in at the site and which are to be used in the work. Therefore, secured advance may be included in EPC contracts or may not be, as the tender accepting authority, tender inviting authorities want, but it helps in mobilizing resources and does not block money for a long time. Hence, it is in the favor of work. Since rates of items are not available in contract, engineer in charge has to assess the market rates and requirements of materials on which secured advance is given carefully. Now, regarding mobilization and TNP advance, these advances also help the agency to accelerate the progress of work. Hence, this is in favor of work. Let us talk about the wage increase due to statutory orders. This is required to be paid to the workers as per applicable laws. Hence, needs to be incorporated in EPC contracts. Else, provision has to be made and the contractor has to absorb the risk and pay if there is an increase. This clause can also be as reimbursement clause on actual basis. Now, for escalation clauses, there are three types of escalation. One is wage increase of the workers. Second is certain escalation of certain costly items like cement and steel. Third is escalation on all other materials and labor, POL, etc. Now, this is to be decided by the tender inviting authority whether they want to include such clauses or not. In case escalation clause is included, theoretical quantity of materials used in the work may be required to be prepared and checked. Now let us talk about the deviations. Deviation may be in quantities or extra substituted items. Clause may be required as some deviations may be required due to local body requirements like fire authorities or other local body authorities, or even client requirement or structural requirements. So this is to be decided again by tender inviting authorities whether deviations will be permissible. Clause, if it is decided that this clause may be included, then something like in case there is change or modification in drawings given by the contractor after the approval of engineer in charge due to functional or site requirement, the contractor shall carry out the changes including extra items, substitute items, deviations as per direction of engineer in charge, for which either payment may be made or something some percentage may be absorbed by the contractor as decided by the tender inviting authorities. So basically this is up to the tender inviting authority, and because that initially architectural drawings and structural drawings are not available, therefore some basis will be required, and this basis may be the drawings which have been approved by the engineer before carrying out the work. Now there may be changes that drawings are supplied by the engineer to the contractor. Drawings are prepared and approved by the engineer. So this base, as I was talking, deviation will be the respect to approval of drawings accorded by the engineer or with respect to drawings approved either or supplied by the engineer or the contractor. Hence, engineers should take due care before conveying approval of such drawings to avoid disputes. An NIT approving authority may also choose the option of no deviations allowed in the contract. Now, there is another clause which may be required in EPC contracts. Suppose due to any requirement the work is to be abandoned, so this clause may be included. So due to abandonment or reduction in the scope of work, foreclosure of contract condition may be included in EPC contracts. Now maybe that because in EPC contracts risk are more with the contractor, So construction defects, not only for defect liability period of 6 months or 1 year, but for more periods should be included. So defect liability period should be more in EPC contracts. It may be like the contractor shall have obligation to rectify construction defects minimum up to 5 years from the date of completion of work, though this 5 years can be changed by the tender inviting authorities. The defects have to be rectified within a reasonable time, not exceeding say 3 months or whatever the period tender inviting authorities want to mention after issue of notice to the contractor by engineer in charge. Then arbitration clause will also be included in EPC contracts, and then provision may even be included of the dispute resolution committee or reconciliation, including arbitration. Thanks for attending this video and my talk. Thanks a lot.